I am starting to understand a little bit better what you were talking to me about a year ago or a couple of years ago when you were speaking about how the spirit is able to flow a lot better if the body is um, it's at its peak, or I don't know how even to say it, but when the body is able to move through time and space with fluidity, right?
Right.
So in pursuit of weightlessness, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the idea is that if we have a body that is heavy, and not necessarily like in the sense of pounds, because I know some very, very skinny people they feel their body heavy as well. So it's not the pounds, it's not although that obviously plays a role as well, but the inability to be able to use the body that we have, because obviously we understand that we're not the body, we just have a body, right? And it's a tool. So our ability to manage the body, to master the body, is going to play a direct effect on our spiritual life. Meaning how alive, how content, how happy we are with our experience as humans, right? So the idea is to train the body so that the body is the best tool that you can have to experience the third dimension. So that you can move through life, through time and space, enjoying the playground that the Creator made for us, right?
Yes.
So I'm understanding it a little bit better, and I'm appreciating it even more, because since I've been training with you for about a month, right?
Right.
And I have to be honest, I've failed a few times in between, right? But I continue to get back on track. So I'm obviously definitely like not where I need to be. But even with the few changes that I've done in connecting the body to the spiritual work, I start to feel like, hey, I'm enjoying life even more, because the body flows, because the body moves in a natural way, right? So, like, was yesterday or a couple days ago, I was outside, my kids and I were playing, and the body just felt a little bit more natural. As opposed to, I'm enjoying these, but the body feels heavy. I'm enjoying these, but there's aches and pains on my, right? So I wanted to read a little bit of what he says here. Like the mighty phoenix, part of you will have to die in the fires of focused training, only to be reborn from the battle remains your strongest self. To me, this caught my attention, because I'm always thinking, well, for my new self, the old self has to die.
Right.
The old habits, right? The guy that would say, nah, I mean, the body is it's just matter, right? So why even worry about, if I exercise or not? Like, that has to die. That has to be the past identity, right? For a new identity to be born. So I would like to hear from you an experience or two or three where you had to let go of the old self, like literally bury the old self and allow the new version of you, because I mean, you've come a long ways from who you were 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 8 years ago, right?
Yes.
So share with me a little bit of the fires of tribulation that have turned to ashes the old self.
Okay, well, I come from a life, or I lived a life of excess, man, which was really, that was my go-to. That was what I did. I went to go party. I went to go drink. I went to go drug and stuff like that. I did that for many years. And when I finally, a turning point in my life, then I started to get away from that stuff. And that led me into physical training. And it was that letting go of that old, giving rise or giving the flesh whatever it wanted. We make that mistake a lot, but we think whatever the body wants, go ahead and give it to it. And then in the end, it comes back to bite us or haunt us because it's not what we want to do. We want to be able to deprive the body. We want to have a balance, more of a balance.
Right.
It's okay to do things, but when they dominate your life,
That's right.
then you're out of balance, and then that just translates into everything else being out of balance in your life. So that's not a way to approach life. And so when I left that behind, then working out came to be a lot more easier. And even at that, I was overweight, obviously. I drank a lot, so alcohol blows you up, so I was probably 40, 50 pounds overweight. And when I started shedding that, then I started literally being light as a feather, pretty much. And that's probably, I ran into In Pursuit of Weightless by Tom Fazio in 2018, 4 years after I started physical training. And then I started putting in the mental stuff, because it is possible for you to have a six-pack, but you're depressed.
Be disconnected.
But,
Exactly.
But you're still
Exactly.
you're still off. So you're not weightless. Weightless
Right,
means
right,
physically
right.
and mentally,
Right.
emotionally weightless.
The holistic approach,
exactly,
right?
Everything. That what they call the Trinity.
The Trinity. Yeah, for sure. That's one of the things that I really appreciate about him, is that he often speaks about how you often find a trainer, a spiritual guru, but they're so far apart. Like, the guru cannot really move his body much. The trainer moves his body, but his mind or his spirit is all out of whack, right? It's more like for the ego, whatever. But it's hard to find a person that has gone through the process of merging both and turning the body as one more tool to experience life in a true holistic, way. So I really appreciate that about this method, is that it's not to have a good physique. It's not although that's obviously a secondary gain. That's fine, but it's the idea of having the best life that you can, and obviously that's going to include the mind, the quality of your thoughts, the quality of your emotions, what in New Age they would call the frequency of your spirit, right? Like high frequency emotions and thoughts. So as much as I try to avoid the connection between body and spirit, because I've always been lazy. Like, my body has always been heavy to me, right? Even when I was super skinny in high school, well, I've never been super skinny, but when I was at my ideal weight, even then the body, like, I would just drag my feet, and I would, if I see a chair, I'm gonna sit on that chair, like, first thing, right? But now that I'm starting to overcome that a little bit, and I'm just the very tip of the iceberg, but it's enough for me to start to understand that there is nothing better than using the body the right way. Right? He talks about how he would train with as much weight as he could, so that then, like, he would run on the beach for miles with I don't know how many pounds on his ankles and the vest and everything, and then when he would remove all the weight, he would yeah, exactly, it would just like almost float, right?
Yeah.
So I could really start to understand the value of being weightless, right?
Yes.
So I think the takeaway from this episode to me is focus on what you have to let go, bury it, understand that it has to cease for the new self to arise. So I cannot keep, playing both fields. I have to focus. So I'm hopeful that eventually I'm going to get there, and that eventually, it's going to be a lifestyle that it's just a natural thing, because it's still a little bit of a struggle to do the exercise, to do the training, to eat right, but I do feel a little bit better.
No, and it's going to get to the point where it will become just part of your life now. It's an extension of your life, and you just go through, and it becomes so second nature that it's not. You don't even think of it anymore. It's just like this is just what I do because I want to feel good,
right? Yeah,
that's who
exactly.
I am, and I choose to feel good. I choose not to be, feel sick, heavy, or whatever. You just choose to feel good, and you just do it, and it becomes. Now it's a discipline, and like I said, it's just something that just happens on its own. It just blossoms on its own. So it's beautiful once you get to that point, and it doesn't take long at all. You probably think. For it to become something like that, maybe about, I think it's 90 days now.
Yeah, about 3 months.
Yeah. 3 months, and then after that, you're just like, okay, well, this is what we do every day. This is what or not every, but 5 days a week or whatever. Whatever you're doing, if it's physical training or.
I've also noticed that you can immediately tell when a person has a heavy body, and again, I'm not talking about pounds.
Right.
I'm talking about the relationship with their body. Right, so like how I walk, like it's right. Well, now I walk a little bit. It's just like just flows a little bit more. On a past episode, we were talking about a fish in the water, right? Yes. Like it's just a natural process. And often, especially here in the U.S., where excess is everywhere, like you can eat as much as you want, whatever you want, and you notice a lot of people out there, they struggle to move their bodies. They don't walk with that joy that you immediately are able to. Oh wow, this guy knows something about life. Like they're just connected to life, right? A lot of it is just slow, like dragging their feet, and it's, man, what a difficult way to live that is.
Yeah.
So. Anyway, I think this is a treasure for anybody that wants to integrate the spiritual and the physical.
I mean, I want to say that when I first started my journey, that was one of the first books, and it was just somebody gave it to me and says, look, you might like this book because he knew that I was into mindfulness, some flexibility, doing some yoga, and I was into training, physical training. And I was always trying to kind of put them together, but in my mind, I was like, well, I guess I'll do that in the morning, I'll do that in the afternoon, or that in the evening, or try to come up with a plan. And then he gave me that book, and that book, he does it all in one session, the workout, the flexibility, and then the mindfulness all there. And so it was like, wow, exactly what I've been looking to somehow incorporate into my life or schedule in my life. This guy's already got it already in a plan. And it was, in fact, I just spoke with the guy, he's already in town.
That's right.
And I told him, you actually paved the way for me, man. You don't have no idea how important your work and your book was for me in my journey and becoming an integral part of the beginning when I was first starting out. And I love it to this day. I still use his templates. I still use a lot of his training methods and stuff like that. So it has really, like I said, paved the way for me.
That's right.
And it was there right when I needed it, when I didn't know where to go or which way I wanted to approach this.
Right. No, I think it's great that a lot of people have gone before us and have done the extra effort to write it, to share their experience with us, because it's through their experience that we can discover new ways, new paths for ourselves, and I think that's kind of what we're doing here, right? Like in our own way, small little way, we want to spread the message, right? Spread the gospel of the holistic life.
It's. I mean, in the end, it's all trying to bring the best version of yourself out. I mean, we all have one. We're all built the same way. So what I have, you have. I don't have anything special that you guys don't have, that you don't have. We all have that same ability if we just tap into it. And sometimes it takes a little investment into ourselves. If you're willing to put in that, I guarantee that your life will change in so many ways, and you will love exactly who you've become.
That's right. I think we can close off with that. That was well said, and it's beautiful. So thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it.
Thank
I'll
you.
see you in the next one.